Welcome everybody, my name is Cannibal Hair. Thanks for stopping by the channel. We are checking out Empryion Galactic Survival today and a little bit of signal logic. I wanted to give you guys the basic understanding of the circuits here. And we have them all set up and all programmed, all ready to go. If you press P and go into the control panel, into the signal logic tab, you can see that I've set up all the circuits here and named them all. We have all the final outcomes all named out to the circuits themselves and all the switches all labeled out as well. We have each device. If you go and look at the device and press P, each device is set to the corresponding circuit. And we also have the LCD screens to open and close so that we have an indicator of saying what the function is and what the function is doing. We also have the label at the top of what circuit we are at, and each circuit is separated with a red label so that anything within these labels is part of the circuit themselves. So here we go with the 2xN signal logic circuit. What we have here is the basic understanding here. If you guys want to take a pause and take a quick picture of this, or if you guys want to read this yourselves, go ahead, pause the video now and take a picture to understand this if you want to keep this for your files. This is the 2N circuit. When both switches are on, it activates the shutter and light. Original position of the shutter and light are off. So depending on your function and what you want to do, this is the circuit that you want to use. So right here it says that both switches must be on for it to be activated. So we have two switches already here programmed. We have switch 1 that does nothing on its own. And let's try and look at this again. We have switch 2 that's activated and does nothing on its own. But when combined, we have the functions of the door and the light. We also have the functions of the LCD screens going from closed to open. I'll try and get a back up a little bit, see if we could show you the actual what's going on. So these are when both switches are activated. It allows the functions of the devices to be enabled. So right now the switches are off, and I'll give you a little bit of understanding of how the circuit works. When the both switches are off, that means that the final outcome here is off. When both switches are on, that means the final outcome is on. So that's how signal logic works. We have the 4xN. The difference here is that instead of using 2x and 4x, is that one's 2 buttons, the other is 4 buttons. It gives you more of a selection, more complex circuits that you can make. So once again, it's the same definition again. If you guys want to pause, take a picture, go ahead. We got the 4xN circuit. All switches must be on to enable light and open shutter. So we have 4 switches. No matter what configuration we do, the devices will not function unless all 4 switches are on. But the thing is here, if you only have 3 switches and you don't want to add that 4th switch, here's the way to do it. Let's go into our signal logic, press P, and go into our signal logic tab. And we're going to go into the 4N circuit, because that's the one we're working with, and we have 4 switches. Let's say we only have 3 switches here, and we don't have that 4th switch, and we don't want to add a 4th switch. Well, there's a 0 and 1 here at the top of the list on the drop-down menu, and the 0 tells you that means it's off. 1 means on. So that puts like a switch there for you. You can manually put a switch. So 0 off and 1 on. So we want the 4th switch to be on, because when we want these 3 switches on, we want the 4th one to be on as well to operate our devices. So we're going to do switch 1, 2, and 3. This is 1. This is 2. And this is 3. So without that 4th switch being programmed as 1, we're able to have our circuit to run and do its function that we want it to do. So we're just going to leave that like that for now, and we're going to work on to the 2xN AND. The 2xN AND is a little bit different from the 2x AND here at the beginning. This, I figured that the AND means a negative effect. Which I mean by a negative effect means that the devices have an inverted effect. But the way this works is that, let's go to the AND here. The devices are inverted, but the power is still off here. But it's acting as if the power is on. So when you have more complex circuits and you want something on and something else off, well, you would need to use this type of circuit. Anyways, to get back to this, it functions the same way as the 2x AND, where both switches need to be enabled for the devices to function. If either one of them is off, the function is not there. As you can see, nothing happens. So both switches need to be on for this to function. Now we'll move on to the 2x OR. This one is one of my favorites because this is something I use in my ships. Here we go. We'll go on to the description here, and if you want to take a quick picture, I don't know, let's see if we could jump up here. If you want to take a quick picture of what the description says so you guys know. The 2x OR, when either switch is activated, it opens the shutter and turns the lights on and off. Note, when can't even speak here. Note, when enabling the second switch, it will do nothing. Original position of the shutter is closed and light is on. So this is the fun one here. So we'll turn one on, and we'll work on the other one. So the other one doesn't really work. This one kind of sucks. This is not the one I use on my ships. I'm mistaken by this, because this is not what I would use. This is quite annoying. Let's turn off both switches to get the function off. This is kind of like, this is not what you want in your house, where you're downstairs in the basement and you want to turn on the light. So you're like, oh, I got light now. You play some games, whatever, and you go upstairs. And you walk upstairs, and you get the switch upstairs, and you're like, oh, I forgot the light on downstairs, and you want to turn it off. Well, that's not going to turn it off. You need both switches off for the light to go off. So that's quite annoying. I want more of a in-house type household circuit. So we're going to come to the XOR. The XOR is the one that I was talking about that I use in my ships. This is the basic one where no matter what you flip it, it's going to work. So the XOR circuit, as in OR, either switch or, see once again, OR, either or switch will function the devices. The XOR means that either switch will operate the devices, and the X means no matter which one, or no matter if it's on or off. So they could cross convert kind of thing. That's how I take it in my mind. I don't know how electricians take it or whatever, how you want to take it. This is my way of understanding it. You don't have to take it this way. But this is what I use on my ship. Let's say you have a switch at your hangar and a switch at your cockpit. And let's say you run to your hangar and you want to get out. Let's get out. And we get out of our ship, we go exploring and come back into our ship. And as we're coming into our ship, we forget to flip the latch and we run straight into our cockpit because we're in a rush. And we're like, oh, our doors are open. Well, in our cockpit, we could flip the switch and close our doors, which I love. I love the fact that you could open and close your doors no matter where you are. No matter what you do, open or close, open or close. It's the best way, best way. There's other ways to add a third switch in there as well. You'll have to run it through a more advanced circuit. I'm not really going to get into that right now, but I'll probably eventually make another video adding a third switch. And we're into the X NOR, which kind of works the same way as the 2x AND and the 2x NAND, which the N means negative effect, which kind of means that these are inverted to begin with, but they're not actually on the inverted setting. They're not really inverted, but the power is inverted. So that means that when the switch is off, those are actually on. So let's say if you want something off, you would make a complex circuit and do it that way as well. So if you want the description for the X NOR circuit, you could pause the video now and take a picture. So here's the description. Either switch will activate the functions of the device. Original starting positions of the devices are shutter, door, or open or light on. So once again, either switch will enable the function of it. So open or close, and open or close. No matter which switch you flip, it will enable the function of it. Now we're going to move on to the inverter. We're getting to nighttime here. I don't like how we are getting into nighttime, so let's just do this. We're in creative mode here, so we have the rights to do this. So we're at the inverter circuit now. We're going to take a quick look at the definition here. So the inverter circuit, you're welcome to pause the video and take a picture for your records. When switch is activated, shutter is closed, and we're missing a little bit of our definition here. Let's fix this. When switch is activated, shutter is closed, and light is turned off. Circuit understanding inverts final outcome. Switch is off equals final outcome on. Switch is on equals final outcome off. So it inverts the signal. We only have one switch set up here. And what that does is that the switch is off. Where are we? Inverter. So the switch is off, but this is on. So when we turn on the switch, this is off. From what I understand anyway. I haven't made many complex circuits, but that's from my understanding. Next, we're going to move on to the set and reset latch. We're running a little bit out of time here. We're going to do this quick. We're going to take a look at the definition here. If you want to pause, take a picture. The set and reset latch will activate when switch 1 is turned on and will reset when switch 2 is turned on. However, either switch will not work if another switch is left on. So what I mean by that is that we're gonna reset the system here. Let's reset the system, make sure both things are on off. So our switch 1 here will set the system on, so you can have a security system or whatever. And the second switch will reset it. But it won't reset unless the first switch is off. So we have to make sure that this is off to actually reset the system. And the system won't set unless the reset is off. So it's kind of got like a toggle feature to it. Next, we're going to get into the delay here. The delay circuit, if you want to take a picture and add this to your record, when switched, is activated devices will function like desired, but with a delay that is specified. We are missing a part of our definition. So this only takes one switch, and what this does, let's reset the system back to 0. With the delay circuit, you are able, let's go here, delay circuit right here, you are able to set your switch, add the amount of seconds you want your delay, and your final outcome. So no matter what you flip your switch, you will have that amount of specified time of delay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it should open. There you go. I counted a little faster, but we're going to flip the switch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's a 5-second delay. Now I wanted to show you a quick little complex circuit that I made. It's a 2xN circuit with a delay. So this is if you want 2 switches with a delay instead of one switch. I don't even know why this is here. We should take this away. This has nothing to do with this circuit. But back to this. So now we wanted to make sure that the circuit is reset by having both switches off. And what I did here is that I put switch 1 and switch 2 on the AND circuit and then named a delay AND. Now I wanted to take those 2 switches and added a delay to it, so I ran those 2 switches with the power on here from the final outcome. So whenever that turns on, this will turn on here and add the delay to our final outcome. So I've programmed our doors and our light to the final outcome, but I've programmed our LCD screens, open and close, to the delay AND. And what this is going to do is that when these 2 switches are activated, it will automatically flip our LCD screens right away, instantly. But we'll keep our shutter and our light on a delay. So when we flip these 2 switches at once, not just the only one, but these 2 to green, which is on, it will flip these LCD screens over. 3 seconds later, the shutter door and the light will turn on. So we'll turn this on, nothing happens. We'll even wait 5 seconds, even talk for a couple seconds longer, and nothing will happen. And we could do that with the same thing on the other side, and nothing will happen. But when both switches enabling the 2 AND circuit, let's back up here because we want to look at our LCD screens up in the top here. As soon as we get both switches green, the LCDs will switch over, and we will have a 3-second delay on the shutter door and the light. And if we disable one, it will automatically go to close, and it will close the shutter and the light. So that's a little bit of the basic understanding of signal logic and Empryion Galactic survival. If you haven't caught my name yet, my name is Cannibal Hair, and if you like this episode, if this episode has helped you out, hit that like button, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button while you're down there as well, and let me know how you guys use these circuits down in the comment section. I'd love to know how you guys use these. I like to implement them in my game, in the server I'm playing in. And if you haven't caught my name, once again, my name is Cannibal Hair, signing off.